Hi friends, welcome to another episode of ZipTalks. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Rajan Bharti Mittal. He is the Vice Chairman of Bharti Enterprises, one of India's leading conglomerates. Rajan is also currently on the board of trustees of Brookings Institution, the world's oldest and most prestigious think tank. He is also a member of the President's Council on International Activities at Yale University, a member of the India-France CEO Forum, a member of the India-Singapore CEO Forum. Rajan has also been honored with the Indian Business Leader of the Year Award 2011 by Horace's The Global Visions Community, and also has been awarded the Leonardo International Prize 2012 by the Italian Quality Committee. Thank you so much for being on this show, Rajan. There's so much more I can read about you, and there's so much to say about you, but really heartfelt thanks for having you on this show.
Thank you, Radha. Thank you for having me over.
So I'm going to get right into it. I want to start by asking you about your fitness philosophy. What is it that motivates you towards fitness and health? I have been admiring you, and I've always wanted to ask you this. So do you have any fitness goals? What is your philosophy?
You know, I have to say, let me roll back when I was much younger. Now I'm more like a senior citizen. But I always felt, we came from a small town. And, those days there was nothing known as sitting on a digital world. As you know, we've grown up with playing sports or being outdoor. There used to be no television. There would be nothing. So it was school, and then you had time with your friends or to go out. So the only thing that one did was really to move out. And when I was young, I was, let me put it this way, a healthy kid. And I always felt that, and I would see my peers, so to speak, the other friends, and they were all, fit guys. And, I was little on the other side. And I used to play table tennis at that time. And one of my national coaches had come there. I have still not forgotten his name, Ramakrishnan.
Yes.
And he said, look, you got to be, fit to play this sport. It looks easy. It's very quick on reflexes, but you need to be fit. And I will not train you till the time you don't get into the fitness regime. And I think that was a wake-up call. And that is the time that kind of hit me that, yes, if you don't manage at that age, you are going to carry all your life. And my one philosophy and mantra has been fitness has been that it's like a bank deposit. If you are in a younger age, exercising, remain fit, that will come to play when you're older. And I can see that in my case. I was talking when I was like 12, 13. Yes. I'm almost now 61. So I can see that change that has taken place. And also my mantra has been to be fitter than I was fit the last year. So I have to work more harder, of course, now. It takes much more time to do that. But surely my way of life is that I need to have an hour and a half for myself every alternate day. So 4 to 5 times a week, I will spend that much time on myself. Morning, evening, it really depends on my schedule, but it is important. So this is my philosophy that I need to be fitter in terms of, and I don't mean to be thin and lean, sometimes people take this, look, so it's not about that. I need to be fit.
Yes.
So that's the kind of, thought process that I live with.
Yes. No, I love both your mantras. Be fitter than what you were before, and go in with a credit balance. Because in your youth you can exercise, etc., and go in to your. And I will not call you a senior citizen, Rajan, by any angle. You are not, and you're a big inspiration to all of us. Interesting, you mentioned about playing sports, in your childhood, and I understand you play table tennis, you played squash. I also know Bharti has been promoting soccer in a large way in our country. So, in your view, what role does sports play, and not only in fitness, but in building your character, in your approach to work and social situations?
I played sports, and I played table tennis for Punjab State, for the Punjab University. Then I played squash, and I played at this club level. I played tennis. Nowadays, I do end up playing badminton once in a while. So I played practically all kind of, racket sports. I represented the country in 10-pin bowling in 1986
Oh,
for the
wow.
Asian Games. So I've done a lot of sports, and in my own idea of life was that I wanted to be a sportsman till one realizes that, you got to do
Yes.
other things and, pressures of different kind. But one main character of, sports, and I'm very clear in my life. I've got two young boys, not, young anymore, but I always used to tell them, that sports is a must. If
Yes.
your results are few percentage point here and there, I can live with that. But if you guys don't exercise, don't play sports, it's not done. So that's something I've always believed because it builds character. It shows you how you want to work with a team. It shows you how if you lose or you win, it's a different kind of a proposition on the table.
Yes.
And then when you walk into that arena, be it football, be it tennis, be it table tennis, wherever you walk in, you're one number out there. You can be, a son of a king, or you could be a son of nobody. It really doesn't matter. For that moment, you're that sportsman and you're part of the team. You need to build the teamwork. You need to understand the teamwork. So I think sports to build character, tenacity is a must. Anybody, one suggestion I always leave on the table is please do encourage your children as they're growing up to play sports. There cannot be a better leveler than playing sports.
Well, how right you are about that. And over the lockdown, I discovered my love for sports and I started playing basketball with the kids in the building. And I can actually
Yeah,
see, it's great, the energy, the teamwork, all the points that you talked about and how it can help you even in your social situations, in your work. They always say, watch a person on the sports field to know how he will be actually in life as a person, right?
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah. No, I
absolutely.
love.
Absolutely.
Yes. So tell me, since you're so much into sports, which sports personalities have really inspired you?
There are many on the table, so it will be a long list. But let me say, when I was growing up, all we could watch was Muhammad Ali at that time, and I
Yeah.
have to say I was so inspired by that man, by his character. And I still remember the fights used to come middle of the night through the, we didn't have television at that time, but in the state that I lived, we used to catch park television and we used to see through that. I have seen that man in many fights and his tenacity and his way of coming around. So he's one character I've always felt, and he's
Yes.
spoken on social issues. He's been a marvelous human being besides being a great sportsman. And of
Yes.
course, my all-time favorite, if I have to say, is Roger Federer.
Oh,
That man defies everything. I mean, he's one man that I have to say, it probably my most, if you were to ask me my most idol sports person, definitely is Roger Federer. I mean, he's showing us class, he's showing us everything. And the way the whole persona is, probably many sports person from across other fields need to learn. And of course, closer home, Sachin and Kapil have been sports people who have seen them playing very closely from young age and playing
yes.
for long years. Sports is not also about, you come shine for a couple of years and move on. These two sportsmen have played for the country, brought laurels, played for 20 years plus without injury. So they've done really well. And lastly, Michael Jordan. I mean, I'm not a basketball player, but I'm a sports watcher. So I watch all kind of sports. And I
Yes.
can spend hours watching sports, reading, or all of that. He's one person I've seen who's brought the whole personality around that game and sports in US in a very different way. So the list is long, but I mean these are few of them. But if you want to ask me top of the list, it has to be Roger Federer.
Roger Federer. Yes. And also, you talked about Sachin. So both Roger Federer and Sachin, also the consistency and the longevity which you talked about. It's just
Yes,
incredible.
absolutely,
It's just, and
absolutely.
Michael Jordan, I think The Last Dance has brought him so close to the Indian homes, where a lot of people have seen that Netflix show, and even I watched it, and it was just incredible to see him
Oh yeah,
rise and his contribution to the sports. Really, I
that's
know
true.
sports.
That's
Uh, yes. So, other than sports, what do you do for your downtime?
Much the time that I get, the window is very short, I have to say. But besides work, there's enough to, besides doing my regimen, travel is a lot. I mean, I get
Yes.
to travel a lot.
Yes.
but that's more for work or even for pleasure. I read a lot. So for me, reading is quite a bit for downtime. And of course, now with all the digital platforms, you
Yes.
get to watch some shows which engage you. But I read a lot, so that keeps me engaged.
So,
So
yeah, please go
carry on,
ahead.
carry on. No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you actually, you were talking about digital content, and over the lockdown, I actually came across a TED talk of yours where you're talking to these youngsters and you were talking about dream and passion and challenge yourself and co working. I love that point which you brought on relentless curiosity. I actually want to ask you, what, according to you, are the top three factors which lead to success at work?
You know, at work, I have to say, one, you have to build your teams. You need to have people better than you who should be nibbling on your toes. And you must build institutions. They must, go beyond you. And people who are hungry, people who have, ability and pursue to learn. And you build a team which can then create wealth around it.
Yes.
And, I always believe if you can't create teams, the companies can only rise to a particular level. You need to bring those people and bring the right kind of people in your teams who can challenge you, who can, motivate you. So for me, for successful, organizations, be it nation building organization, is all about people. So you have to be very clear that that is your probably the most, I would say, strongest pillar is your
Yes.
people.
Yes. No, I think such an important point, Rajan, and such few people talk about it. But you're as good as your team, like you said. So teamwork and having the right people around you is so important. And we
Oh
can
yeah.
see that in the success of Bharti, and it's a company which makes all us Indians so proud because it's an Indian brand, and it really makes us very proud. So good to hear this from you. But Rajan, you've achieved so much success in your life. You've been part of a great team, built a big Indian brand, a big international brand. How do you keep motivating and inspiring yourself?
Well, the good part is that you have to keep challenging yourself. And in India, there are always challenges. So you don't need to be motivated much. There are enough challenges that keeps you on the toes. And I think when you are in that situation where a whole lot of people are involved, and as the technology is moving in such a rapid pace, you have to keep abreast for everything. So I think when you are passionate for your work, when you're happy to come at work in the morning, there are no Monday blues. I think you're motivated.
Wow, wow. That itself is motivating and inspiring me. I want to ask you now, what two tips would you like to leave with the viewers and listeners with respect to fitness and inspiration, motivation? Any two tips that you would like to leave with our viewers?
I always believe that even when I interview some people who come to be our colleagues later on, my one question to them is, what is your passion? Do you spend an hour every day, every alternate day on yourself? Are you fit enough? Because everything needs stamina. It's easy to say that you're sitting behind a desk. No, there's a different kind of mental stamina you need. For that, you need to be fit. So my always is, if you can't spend an hour on yourself, you're a poor manager. It worries me that if you can't take that 1 hour out for yourself for 4 to 5 times a week, then how will you do things that? So my only, two bit here is, please look after your health. Nobody else is going to look after your health eventually. And for that, you need to have 1 hour dedicated for whatever you like. I'm not suggesting sports, but whatever you like. You want to go to gym, yoga, whatever you like. But 1 hour is a must. So you got to be fit, both physically, which leads to a mental fitness.
I love that, that invest in yourself and be both physically and mentally fit.
Yeah.
I love that point. And very few people think of investing in themselves, actually. And like you said, it makes them poor managers. That was a really good takeaway for me. Before we go, This is a popular demand from our viewers. So we are having a rapid fire round. So I'm going to
Rapid
say,
fire.
so I'm going to say 5 words, one by one, and you have to tell me what word comes into your mind when I say the word. So are we ready? Shall we go for it?
Okay, I didn't know that there's going to be a rapid round, but yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, and these words have come into my mind after listening to you speak. Okay, success,
Building great teams and creating wealth for people, that all the kind of stakeholders that come around.
sports,
Tennis.
passion,
I would say reading and traveling, my personal passion. And
family.
if I may add, sorry, if I may add to passion, my passion is really to be in the mountains.
Wow.
I mean, that's what gives me peace, downtime. And, it tells you when you look at the mountain, which will be there for centuries and forever probably, and you'll be coming, we are
Yes.
mere speck, that really humbles you. So for me, the downtime is to go to the, mountains. I mean, I'm not a mountaineering kind of guy, but it just gives me that peace and that tranquility.
Wow, I can already picture mountains and feel that sense of peace and tranquility coming. Um, family,
Always there. So that is something which is, I believe, is permanent.
okay, next word, which is the last word, diet.
Well, for me, I'm on an intermittent diet, and which means really I, eat for 8 hours, 16 hours, I don't eat, and carbs in the afternoon, and absolutely protein in the evening. So that's the kind of a balanced diet that I follow.
Oh, wow. You're on an intermittent fasting, and you found that that's
Yeah.
been useful to you and you feel more energy, etc.
Oh, yes, absolutely. More energetic. It keeps the balance. So I would really recommend it.
Yeah. Actually, this is one thing which I haven't yet tried, and I've heard so much about it. And they say that it also helps to rejuvenate your body organs and keep you young from inside as well. So this is
Well,
something
let's
that I
hope that.
Uh, thank you so much, Rajan. I really enjoyed having you on the show. I'm sure my viewers have found this talk as inspirational and motivating as I did. Friends, you can find this talk on YouTube channel #Zip2Fitness, on podcast ZipTalks on Spotify and Apple iTunes, and on Instagram page Zip2Fitness. Thank you so much.